welcome to the podcast. I am Melissa Matheson, and I genuinely hope that you and your family are still safe and healthy, even if maybe you're running out of ideas to keep you busy during this time of quarantine. I can pretty much guarantee, though, that being bored is probably much safer than being sick. There's a bit of a chill in the air here in Northwest Alabama today, so it seems good and right to grab a cup of coffee and catch up on some podcasts. Hey, did you know that we are already at episode 50 for the podcast today? So if you're new to the podcast family, I can recommend just about any of them, well, all of them, for you to listen to if you want to hear some great conversations with some of my friends about navigating life transitions. Speaking of transition, well, the podcast is in a bit of a transition too. So I asked my friend Laura, who has been here with me a few times over the last 50 episodes, to come have coffee and help me talk out some of this transition with all of you. We are celebrating 49 really great conversations with some of the greatest people I know and talking about what the podcast is going to look like moving forward. Episode 50 is here and I saved you a seat at the table. So grab your coffee and join us. We're talking about daily affirmations, some upcoming schedule changes, and some new things coming to the podcast. Today on What's Next, God? Let's see.
What to say, what to say.
What do we talk
Here
about?
we are again.
Once again, at the table, having coffee with my friend Laura.
Should I slurp and sip? I think that might get on a few people's nerves.
Well, I don't know. It happens. That was all Laura.
I know a few people I can picture in my mind right now, if they're listening to this, are cringing. Their skin is crawling.
Your phone, they're probably going to start texting you after they listen.
Never
and be like,
do that again.
Don't do that.
But this is a strange tangent connected to those sounds. Those types of videos and
SML, ASM.
We're butchering this. ASMR.
ASMR, that's what it is. With the sounds. I can't do it.
I can't quite get into those.
No.
But they
awful.
don't bother me necessarily, but they're not like, I do know people though that they are soothing and it helps people relax. I know one person specifically that has been like a proven way that she's actually been able to fall asleep, and she's a bit, is it not narcolepsy? That's when you don't have
sleep.
Yes.
No, narcolepsy, they fall
when
asleep.
You fall asleep without help.
It's been a long day.
Oh my goodness, you can tell what time of day this is.
So tired.
Insomnia.
Yes, so insomnia, and she listens to those to help her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. The only people I've ever known that watch them and like them are people that just want to cringe at them because it's so awkward.
It's like a novelty.
Yes.
It's almost like you can't peel your eyes away or your ears away.
Because it's so bad.
It's so strange.
And the fact that my kids like them, that's what annoys me more than anything.
It's like you don't understand.
I'm not annoyed by the videos. They're fine out there. Don't play them in my house and go, Mom, listen to this one. Listen to this one.
Letting
listen
it
to this
play
one.
over the whole sound system in the house, and it's filling every room.
No. So it's just not my thing.
On that note.
Laura, we've been so busy.
It's been
everyone
quite a busy time.
Is quarantined in their houses, social distancing. We haven't had a break.
No.
I feel like we've been so busy.
Super busy. I know for me personally, it's been a busier time work-wise, life. I'm not even going to say life-wise, but because of the element of what I do with the Ramp School of Ministry and us switching all of our students to online because of the coronavirus, that really turned my days into evenings and lots of extra things going on related to that. It's been a very busy time.
A very busy time. Is it going to slow down for you soon?
I'm not going to say slow down. I think I'm going to get into a rhythm.
Okay, where it'll get easier.
Yep. So I think after today, I feel like tomorrow, I have high hopes anyway, that tomorrow we'll step into a different, because that will mark a little over a week that we've been in this online place and working from home. I go into the office like a tiny bit when it's absolutely necessary. and being able to get in rhythm with those elements and those things will be helpful to make some sense of every day.
Yes. How's working from home? Is that something you're good at doing?
I am not actually good at working from home.
Really? I'm surprised. I would think as an Enneagram 3, you could just work anywhere.
I love it in doses.
Okay.
I love working from home when I'm getting to, or when working from home is a break from the office, as in I want some undevoted focus time. The phone isn't ringing. There's not people maybe knocking on the office door, and I'm just able to zone in on a project. That's wonderful. And I have wonderful sunlight coming in on my kitchen. I don't have the window in my office at the office.
No, you don't.
So it's a wonderful break. But when it comes to zoning in and staying focused on certain things, this has made me realize how much having a place like my office with my whiteboard and with all of those things that are my visual cues are helpful with work. And working at home, I love home. I love my comfy couch. I love my kitchen. I love that all the food that I want to eat's right there in my refrigerator.
I love my house.
I love my home house. My house is great.
I love my sister.
We'll have to put the link to that little YouTube video reference.
What's it called?
Jessica's Daily Affirmations.
Okay, look it up. Jessica's Daily Affirmations.
They're wonderful.
We played it this weekend because we needed some affirmations.
Yes, and amen.
And, we played this little girl.
It's wonderful. It's 10 years old, 20 million views on YouTube, and it's just brightens
It's amazing.
your day. It's wonderful.
So I wonder if you should do some affirmations and do a video.
Standing on my kitchen table.
Standing on your kitchen table or your bathroom counter like little Jessica was.
Jessica,
yes. And stare at yourself in the mirror and do some affirmations.
If that's what it takes.
Share.
Whatever it takes to bring light and joy and fun into the world right now.
Hey, I do love, one thing I love right now about everyone social distancing and being home more is to see more people active online, posting videos, doing art and creative things, and all the memes, and people telling stories or doing push-ups on Instagram.
It's just a wide variety.
All of the question games going around to see other people's creativity and their voice, people that might not have time to be online a whole lot socially during the day, just to see all of that and videos of people that maybe only really post, but now you're seeing them do a video or they're singing a song, playing guitar, and you're like, oh, I didn't know they could do that. Or I am enjoying.
I love that too.
All of that. Everybody.
I love that too.
I know there's like a meme, like everybody's now a televangelist thanks to the coronavirus.
All of the churches going online.
Everybody's online and everybody's posting their own little sermon videos and their own words of inspiration. But I love it.
I absolutely love it.
I keep doing it. Don't stop.
Put fuel on the fire. Go, go, go.
Yes.
Today I told our students via our private Facebook group that we have just for them. I actually commissioned everyone, not just my visual arts artist within RSM, but I commissioned everyone to go there creatively during this time for this reason. Right now, there are a ton of things media-wise out there. A lot of them are initiating anxiety. They're initiating fear. They're initiating hopelessness. And we as the kingdom, the church, the people getting out of four walls that we are now required to not stay within in a group, what an opportunity to fill those same avenues of media within social media with light, with glory, with beauty, with all of that visual stimulation that is pointing to Jesus. So I commissioned them to get in a place of creativity, get in a place of a creative flow, put on worship music, get outside. The weather here in Hamilton, if they are here, it's going to be beautiful for after today. After today, for the next few days. Get in a place where you can quiet the noise.
Okay.
Create.
Okay.
Open your ears to the Lord. Let yourself maybe do something you wouldn't normally do. Get paints out, get markers, and enjoy creating with the Creator. And then what you see, what you hear, be bold enough to share it on social media.
Oh, so they're going to share it on their own social media pages. Oh, yay.
So the idea is to wherever people they're connected to, they're now contributing light and life and goodness and glory to that stream that might be focused on the opposite.
Yes.
And that scripture that's been rolling around in my heart related to that today is that 2 Corinthians 2 word that says that we're the fragrance of Christ. I love how it says it in the Passion Translation. I don't want to mess this up, but it is, the gist of it is, we are the aroma. We are the undeniable, unmistakable aroma of the victory of the anointed one of God.
Oh, hallelujah.
So it's that
Hallelujah,
reality.
hallelujah, hallelujah.
Amen.
I feel the glory.
We're getting Pentecostal in here. I love it. It is that reality that we live from. And my encouragement to the students and anyone, it was even people that, maybe you're not an artist, but just do it. Put yourself out there and let life flow through you and let that life that's flowing through you impact other people.
Yes, I love it. Did you give them a deadline on when to do it, or just
I'm
a
going
challenge?
it was just a challenge.
Okay.
I'm going to give my visual arts students specifically.
Okay.
I'm turning it into an assignment for them, and they're going to have to do it at least once a week. They're going to have to do that. Mm-hmm. Now, I've challenged them to do something get creative every day.
Hashtag do art every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do that with my kids. Like in the summer when they were little, we used to do that.
I love that.
Hashtag do art every day, and they would have to do something creative every day in the summer.
I love that.
Which that's easy for my kids because they love.
Yeah. Well, they flow from a vein of creativity that isn't you.
Yes. My creative DNA.
You do have it,
them.
Melissa, as we have talked about.
I do.
We do continually.
I do. I actually never really thought of myself as being a creative person. I always was so business.
Yeah.
And did not understand how creativity played into what I was doing, and I didn't recognize it as creativity. Mm-hmm. And even how I can go through seasons where I am super creative in other ways than I am at others. Mm-hmm. I'll go through a painting season or a journaling season or a house season, decorating house or hosting dinners.
Yep.
Like there's creativity in that.
All of it.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just limited to painting.
That's exactly right. All of it is creative, and all creativity is from the Lord.
Well, the podcast with Travis Benish, we recently, we just had talked about the Creator. God made us, and He is creative, and so there is creativity inside of every person. We just have to find it.
Yeah.
And be original. I feel, I see so many original things happening right now in people that I'm kind of loving.
I love it. It gives, and right now it's giving people permission to do it.
Yeah.
Where there has been excuses before.
Or somebody's already doing that or something like that. Just do it.
There's freedom there. And I love that.
Hey, I noticed you're drinking your coffee black.
I am.
You're not doing...
I'm not doing any fun stuff, right? Yes, as we've talked before, I'm a consistent black coffee drinker, but I do enjoy half and half. Enjoy that,
especially when you're over here. When you're podcasting with me,
I do a dash of heavy cream or half and half.
An indulgence.
Yeah. You know what I didn't bring today, which I was going to.
What?
Just in the mail from Amazon, I received a 6-pack of non-dairy. It was part almond milk, part coconut milk.
Oh.
Half and half that I ordered. And I had some iced coffee earlier with it today.
Did you like it?
It's delicious. And I meant to bring it
so that you could have it with your coffee.
Or for y'all to try if y'all liked it. But what's funny is I'm glad I like it because I had to order. I couldn't just order one 32-ounce little bottle. I had to order 6.
Yeah, I had to do that with oat milk.
I'm going to be doing that for a bit. But it is really good, especially in iced coffee. And it's got a good consistency. It's not just like an almond milk that's a little watery. It's got some some cream.
All right, so tell everybody what it is again. It is almond milk, coconut milk,
and coconut milk combo that's combined to a consistency that's similar to half and half. It's not sweetened. So I'm on Whole30. I'm finishing up Whole30 right now. So that was like the main reason why I got it.
And you got it on Amazon.
I did. And I'm going to probably produce the brand wrong. It's Califa Farms.
Okay.
But it's really good. I recommend it.
We might have to give it a try. Next time you're over, you'll have to bring it over.
And if you like it, go ahead and plan to spend some money and get 6 cartons at one time.
Or go in with 6 friends
That's
and
right.
each get a carton.
That's a great idea.
There you
Much
go.
better idea.
Or just buy 6 and give away 5. We're
Yes.
in such a generous mood right now.
Make a gift basket of your favorite things and stick it in.
Yeah. When Carly and Jen were just here recently, we talked about generosity now during this coronavirus happening in our world, and just that generous nature of people that we're seeing and how
it's beautiful.
Wonderful it is. So
because we were all spending a little more time on social media, none of us are acting like we're not. There's different videos that I've watched of different people in different communities and their generosity and just sweet things that they're doing. Like right before I came over here, I saw a video of this school district whose teachers, about 30 of them, made this parade, if you will, with their vehicles and just started riding around their students' subdivisions and things like that for their students to come outside, and their teachers were waving at them so that they could connect and just see them. And it's just like, that's so sweet for them to just do whatever they needed to do to be able to see their teachers and their students, or for them to see their students. It was sweet.
That is sweet. I love that people are coming up with such great ideas.
It's fun to see.
For doing things. I hope that it continues.
Yes, that it's not just for now. It's a new way of doing things.
Normal.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Just to be kind and generous and thoughtful, and maybe slow down our paces, even though you and I have not slowed down a whole lot.
No.
We've been a little busy.
Very much so.
Hey, guess what today is?
What's today?
This is episode 50 on the podcast.
Melissa, 50 episodes.
50 episodes of the What's Next God podcast. And when we were mapping out to record, I was like, well, Laura has to come because you've been here for some of the major little milestones that we've had here.
I'm so honored.
So you had to come and be here for episode number 50.
Melissa, did you think when you started with episode number 1 that you would be at episode 50 now, or did you think you'd get to episode 50? Like,
no,
where
just
does this
thought,
land?
No, so I had no idea when it started. It was, hey, let's just do this, and maybe until I run out of friends or run out of time. I didn't know what it was going to look like. So just started doing it, and doing it twice a week, because when I started, I had a little more time on my hands.
Yeah, you did.
And started doing that, and it just kind of snowballed where, and so for people that understand what it's like to have a word from God, starting this was not really my idea. I felt like it was the Lord going, hey, this is something I'd like you to do.
Right.
And I didn't know how long that season would last. So anytime God asks you to do something, you say yes. It doesn't matter what it looks like or how long it's going to. Nope. You just start doing it and see what's going to happen with it. And of course, we had no idea when we started doing this what it was going to look like. We just thought, oh, well, let's talk to some people about where they are in their life and hear their story.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesdays, because we talk about the camels coming all the time, we're going to talk to married people.
Yeah.
And every episode has been, I just think everyone's the best one. Like every
They're also
conversation
good in their own ways.
has been so great. Now, our quality of audio and video has hopefully improved as we have had practice. And I think we're getting a lot better about that, especially when we're here at the table. If there has been poor audio quality recently, it's because I was maybe not here. Right. I was out of town, sitting in my car, trying to talk into my phone.
Right.
So that is not Dave's fault. So Dave, my husband Dave.
Dave is a superhero.
Yes, he has pulled all of this together, all the technical stuff with audio, video. And I feel like we're in a good little rhythm with it now.
It's natural.
We just do it. We just kind of have our thing and we just go and record. And he does all the production, the post-production and the editing and all of that, gets it all uploaded for me. And even with our YouTube channel. So for most people that don't know, we have a YouTube channel as well that we have been putting content
in and
on.
of itself.
It is. And we're going to start talking about the YouTube channel more because I feel like with transition, those winds of change can sometimes just blow through.
Yep.
And I feel like even the podcast, in the middle of everything going on in the world, I've been sensing a little bit of a shift in the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I'm a little excited about it. But we're going to be pulling on my husband Dave's video abilities and his podcast editing abilities.
Yep.
Pretty heavily, and you're going to start seeing some more video content, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. We're even going to go back to some of the older episodes on the podcast, pull little snippets out in video and start putting that. So if you're not on the What's Next God podcast page on Facebook, that's where a lot of that content's going to start going. And we'd love to be posting stuff, every day.
Yeah.
And just if you just sometimes need like a little 3-minute or a little 4-minute walk down memory lane, if you've already heard it, or if there's something in it that you haven't seen and you get to go back and listen to a podcast. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing. And it just feels like episode 50 came at just the right time.
I believe
and
it.
I know it's April 1st, but this is not an April Fool's
It
joke.
is not a joke.
Nope.
I do not like April 1st.
I don't
I'm just going to let you know.
either.
Or April Fool's Day, I should say.
I know. I don't like April Fool's Day either. That's not my thing. I'm not into that.
No, nor
Why
mine.
is that?
I know why I don't.
Okay.
I have a very personal, not personal that can't be shared, but like a deep, tender place that it hit that I just.
Tell me about this April 1st story.
When I was a little girl, my brother Mark and it was April Fool's Day.
I knew Mark had something to do with this. Go ahead.
I can't just blame it on him. We both decided we were going to play an April Fool's joke on my mom.
Oh.
And while she was in the shower, so she would always make us, often for breakfast, cinnamon sugar toast. Butter and cinnamon sugar, and it was yummy. That was like we didn't get it all the time, but it was a treat.
Yes.
And so we're going to be sweet and make her cinnamon sugar toast. And we intentionally did salt instead of sugar.
Oh.
And we were doing this while she was in the shower, and she was going to come out, and we had this plate with this toast in her room, and she, thought it was so sweet, and she took a bite and had a horrible, of course it tasted horrible, had a horrible reaction. And it hurt her feelings really, really bad.
Oh, no.
We were kids. I don't know what is going on in her life in that day is life of what, I have no idea. But it hurt her feelings, and we got in trouble, but I felt how much it hurt her feelings that we did that, because she was getting this sweet experience from her children, and then it wasn't sweet at all. Literally, it was very salty.
Yes.
And
very salty of you.
It scarred, the fact that I hurt my mom like that.
Oh, yeah.
Scarred my heart. And literally from that day forward, I was probably 5 at the most. I've loathed practical jokes and April Fool's Day for that reason.
I am not a practical joke person.
I don't enjoy it.
I just
feel the
so
tricks.
Bad. It's the Enneagram 1 in me. It's like, this is not right. This is so wrong to do.
Yes.
And I just can't do it to anybody, and I don't want it done to me.
And my mom is one of the sweetest, kindest, lovingest, most nurturing. Every ounce of nurturing capability I have in me is because of her.
Yes.
And then I did that to her. I still feel it at this moment. I need to go. I need to drive to Jasper, Alabama right now and give her a hug.
Mm-hmm. Take her some real sugar cinnamon toast.
That's right. I do.
You should be doing
that.
I
don't want to feed her that anymore because it's not good for her.
It's not good. Yeah, it's just April 1st, just not our thing.
Not
April Fool's Day.
But that's why
we gotta stop saying April 1st. It's April Fool's. It's not April Fool's.
Correct.
So we're redeeming the day.
That's right. It's a great day.
This
it's not
is
full of
great
tricks
day.
and pranks and mean things.
No, it's full of blessing.
Good things.
And Jubilee, because it's the 50th episode, and 50 is Jubilee, which is celebration and debt cancellation. We cancel that.
Amen.
That debt that you've been carrying all these years.
All these
since you were
20-something years.
Yes,
I was trying to do the math in my head, and it's not there.
Forgiven. The slate is clean. Today.
I received.
God is redeeming.
I received this
April 1st.
jubilous
Y'all, we're so tired.
We are. You should listen to this at a late hour so that you can feel the same way we feel right now.
Yes, we recommend, listening to this late at night when you're very tired.
Mm-hmm.
And we could be one of those videos they fall asleep to.
Yes, we could. Those interesting sounds.
Yes, or you can just laugh with us because you're so tired too.
The delirium is a beautiful
Because sometimes
thing.
when you get tired, just silly stuff just all of a sudden gets really funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But today's not a silly day. This episode is
not
celebratory, not
Yes,
trickery.
we are celebrating all the things and celebrating every guest that has ever been here on the
Absolutely.
show.
Absolutely.
And it has
such a
just
beautiful
been,
variety.
It has been. It's been really great. So in sensing some of this transition, I have to I feel like I need to talk a little bit about maybe what is in my head.
Yeah, because transition means
Yeah.
change.
It means change.
part of it means change.
Yes. And what change looks like. And if we're going to sit here and talk about navigating life transitions with all these people for 50 episodes, I just feel like it's only fair that in the middle of transition, we talk about it
Yeah.
here for the podcast. So really kind of what started this for me is been in a place where I've been very busy.
You have been.
You know, super busy, a lot of things going on. And and I love the podcast and I love hearing the stories and I love having the people over here and doing this, but it was getting harder and harder. It is getting harder and harder to find the time and make it as easy. I don't know if that's the right word as it was. Like it just seemed to flow just because I had so
Sure.
much time on my hands before and I could just work my schedule around everybody else's.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to coordinate schedules and editing times and because it's super important for me to be consistent.
Right.
And we have released something every Monday and Wednesday since this started. So for 50 episodes, every Monday and Wednesday. And we've thrown in the occasional little Friday thing from time to time when we've
Those
had a little
bonuses.
extra. So super consistent is kind of my thing. And I kind of like that. I kind of like, and I just want to be reliable
Yeah.
with that. But it was like, I was talking to some friends and there have been a time or two where I was out of town and I couldn't get home and we were out of episodes in the queue, but I didn't want to miss being here and didn't want to miss posting something. And so I had to just, you know, sit in my sister's driveway on my phone and record something. And it was okay, but it just didn't feel like this is what I want to be doing. So I thought that maybe quality over quantity, as one of our friends, Jen, would say, you know, and I'd rather give quality stuff and quality conversation rather than just throwing some things together.
Right.
And have really been feeling just that crunch and to try to make things happen.
Yeah.
But yet I know, do you know how when you know that God gives you a word and you're doing that and then you feel a bit of a shift. And so it's hard to kind of let go of something because you're like, well, this is what God gave me to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do these things that you feel like the Lord is leading you to do. And then it kind of changes a little bit. And I kind of wrestle with like, well, why didn't you just say it like that the first time?
Sure.
And I wrestle with sometimes changing things up when I feel like there's kind of a good thing going.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a good thing, but I was just feeling that change, that things are happening. And it's all happening around the same time that everyone's being quarantined.
I have many things I can say from my listeners' perspective.
Okay, tell me, because I need that.
Because first off, I think one thing that is so, I'm going to say obvious, but this is not in a condescending way by any means. It's, of course, a podcast about transition is going to have transition.
Oh, yes.
Intermingled in all of it. It's like almost now that you're in this place of some things are going to change. Of course it's going to change.
Yes.
And I think too.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
everybody
do.
else is going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm the one struggling with that.
And we are. Let me speak on behalf
Speak
of
on
all
behalf
of your listeners.
of all the listeners
I will take on
all over
this
the world.
honorable duty to speak on behalf of your
appreciate
listeners.
your
We
ministry.
love you. We
Aw.
love this podcast. I faithfully am listening to every single episode. And we are a podcast family. We've
Yes.
become that.
Yes, we actually have. I love that.
And the reality is we're here for the ride. We're here along for the journey.
Yes.
And we all know what transition feels like in our own lives. We all know in different capacities things God's told us to do, that we're doing it, and it looks different than maybe we started out in the way that we started out. But we also know what it feels like to in our best ability, remain faithful to what God's given us to do.
Yes.
And we see you doing that. And so it's not a matter of head scratching, like, why is this the way that it is? Or I wonder if it's going to be this way, or Melissa, what are you doing? Those questions aren't even really there at all. It's
good.
Melissa's leading a charge, and we're riding along with her. And there's so much grace, because again, the nature of your podcast is the context is transition. And
Yes.
so that a part of being along that journey is the same concept of things we've talked about multiple times, or I should say you've talked about multiple times with multiple people, is that the only thing that's constant is change.
Yep.
And so whatever this looks like for you in way of changing the elements of the podcast as you share more about that, we're here not because you're just feeding us good content. We're here because we're feasting together.
Yes.
And we're all partaking of
Absolutely.
this together.
And I love you talking about the podcast family, because that's one of the transitions that I've been sensing. So for everyone listening, you may have noticed a few familiar voices that have been coming back and doing multiple episodes. So as we've done this, I feel like we are creating this family type thing, this friend group. You know, we kind of get to come together and have coffee and hang out, and bringing back some of those familiar voices, Carly, Jen, Laura, and getting to just hang out with my friends. That is a transition that you girls are just so great to go, let's talk about something.
Yeah.
You know, Carly and Jen were just here. We talked about fun things to do while we're at home and what we're doing with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So just getting extra people. So that's going to be something we're going to be doing more, is hearing some of our voices that have been here in the past come back, and we're going to talk about different things.
Yeah.
So in the past, we've had a lot of guests, and we've been talking about their individual stories. One thing that's going to change has been our Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So we're not just doing married people on Wednesdays, talking about how they met, dated, and married. We're still talking to married people, but we're just sprinkling them throughout.
Yeah. It's not something you're taking away.
calendar.
It'll just be happening at different
We're
times.
just switching it
different
up.
places. Yeah.
Yep. Another thing we're going to switch up is bringing back some of these people, because now that we've been talking about individual stories, I want to get into some topical things.
Yes.
And so some of these regular voices that people are hearing and getting to know, we're going to just talk about some topics. One of our series that we did in January, the Celebrating Single series, was by far the most popular thing we have ever done on the podcast in 50 episodes.
That's awesome.
There were 12,
I think it was 12.
10 or 12 episodes there. I mean, still, people are still listening to
That's
those
so
episodes. And whether they were single or married, I've had so much feedback from those conversations with single people. And we didn't even talk about dating in all of them. We just talked about single people, like running businesses and being teachers and artists and all of these incredible
doing
things.
awesome things in the season of life that
So
we're in.
I found that like a little topic like that could be a way that we could have a couple of conversations with people about specific topics that I think would be interesting. So side note, if you have a topic, send it to me. Let me know.
That's great.
What
Yes.
you would be interested in. And I don't know what those topics might be.
And any topic could be a good idea.
It could be. And we could just kind of spend a couple of episodes talking about things. And we're still going to interview and talk to people about their own stories. We're still talking to married people about how they met, dated, and married. And those will probably likely be our Mondays. And then Wednesdays could end up just being a little shorter topical thing where it's not quite the same as Mondays. So we're just going to mix it up and just see how it goes. I don't know if this is for a short season until people are allowed to get back out and travel and there's more time. But we're just going to give this a try.
And I think that's great. And like I said, we're with you, the whole team,
I'm
the
so
whole
glad.
family. Well, let me ask you this, Melissa. Do you feel like there will be some weeks where you'll put out one podcast and the week will be it for the week?
I think that could happen. We might just do one podcast, but we have the ability to, with the content we already have and stored up in the archives, Dave could come in and we could still put out on video or on the YouTube channel.
So
these
other
little videos.
avenues, there would be other avenues content, things
besides
like
the podcast. So we'll have the podcast. So really, it's not like we're taking away. I feel like what it is creating opportunity to release more.
You're diversifying the way
just
it's coming
just in different ways.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure everybody is acquainted with the different ways that they can connect with the podcast and what we do. And that is, and then we'll also, the What's Next God podcast page, where we're posting a lot of things. It's shareable and there's just going to be content we're going to put out there. Then the YouTube channel will be all of our videos. And then we'll also have the podcast.
Yeah.
And we kind of have another little thing we're working on. I can't really talk about it yet. That is going to be,
I like these.
I think, really good. Because if you're listening, that means you kind of like podcasts and you kind of like this conversation and this style of thing we're doing. So I know you're going to like this.
Yes,
whenever this happens. And let's see. I think that this will be first announced on the podcast. So, and I don't know when.
I love the mystery wrapped in this moment.
These podcast people that have been listening on the podcast are going to be the first to know.
I love that.
Whenever it happens.
Because this is where it all started.
This is where it all started. Like, this is home base.
Yep.
For us. And it only just gets better and bigger from here.
Yes.
We're expanding our tit pegs, Laura.
Yay! So biblical. So God ordained.
So biblical, so God ordained. And that's what we're
only
doing.
He knows what the stretching is going to produce and bring about, and the room that it's creating, because that's what stretching your tent pegs is about. It's about growth. It's about capacity.
Yes.
It's about being able to hold more.
Yes.
And He has a plan.
Which is why it has been so refreshing to bring some of you extra friends on board to help me co-host and do these types of things, because then I feel like it's not just me.
Yeah.
And I've always been able to do things on my own. Like, I'm really goal driven. I need something done. I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't ask for help a whole lot, because I don't like to inconvenience people. I think that could be part of my wing too. I'm not real sure. So I just usually just jump in and do it. But I understand too that when there is something significant that is growing and the Lord is wanting to do something with it, there comes a time where sometimes you have to open up and let other people into that world to help.
For sure.
And when it's not just about me it's really about what God is wanting to do in the earth through whatever, through a ministry, through a book, through a podcast, through, I don't know, the coronavirus, how everybody's linked arms and, linked arms at 6 feet apart.
Correct. Like, figuratively linked. Our hearts have linked.
Yes.
In the
spirit.
In the spirit. But our arms are 6 feet apart.
We are 6 feet apart. But in that, how everyone's kind of coming together to create change.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a shift for the podcast, was opening this up and going, hey, there's just so many people here and so many things happening, and I can't do this by myself. And all of you people just jumped on board, and it's been really great. So I love that. And it to me is like God going, you're not meant to do this on your own. No. If we're sitting here talking about creating community all the time, I need to do that. I live in community, but sometimes we pick and choose what parts of our lives we allow people into. And it's like, okay, even in this, open up and let people come on board who are just as passionate about seeing people encounter the Lord, talk about transition, celebrating singles, whatever that is, and create a place for other people to come in and link arms with me.
I love it.
Over a cup of coffee.
And it's an honor to be able to do that with you, Melissa. I'm just very, very thankful to be able to link arms with you and to be a part of seeing over and over again how God's using this conversation, this continual conversation, to bring freedom to people, to give, not just give a voice to topics, but just for God to use those details of stories to touch people's hearts and lives, and people feel known.
Yes.
People feel that not only they're not isolated in what they're going through. Someone else has gone through that same thing. And just the reality of storytelling that happens in community.
Yes.
That it just becomes so powerful. And just in this concept and this idea of that we talked about earlier, stretching and tent pegs and the increase and all of that, the people that come alongside that God ordains to do that, it's because we are made to do things bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
We're made to create, even some things we were talking about earlier, we're made to be a part of things that we are not able to do by ourselves.
Right.
And this, I think, just even this moment of transition with the podcast is a marker of God's the God of more. He's the God of exceedingly abundantly above. And to do more requires more than two hands, more than, well, I'll say 4 hands and 4 feet, because there's you and Dave in this experience.
Yes, we cannot leave out Dave.
But the reality is God, when he saw the beginning of what's next God, he saw the more already.
Yes.
And so we're just taking that next step.
And it's a little scary to go invite people into that, because it's like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. This could take off or this could tank. So are you in? You know, it's
and we're like yes!
And y'all were. So I had a think tank and brought a handful of people in, started via text because, social distancing. Mm-hmm. And just to go, all right, here are some thoughts. And I cannot tell you what that text thread did for me. Aww. It brought so much clarity and life to me to hear everyone's ideas on some of this podcast transition. Yeah. And it really has helped me have a clearer idea of some strategy that I think the Lord is going to do to help this go to the next level. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, so here's this thing. It's like next level, but there's that part of me that I feel like I'm having to let it go.
Yeah.
Like, especially if there might be some weeks there's just a Monday episode.
Right.
And Wednesday just has to be something a little bit shorter.
Right.
And it's not like a full blown thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's like a letting go. But it's really, I do feel like this is more next level kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the thought that I had that came to mind was, I have a stick shift that I drove for years. Mm-hmm. So when you're going uphill with a stick shift, you have to shift down.
Yeah.
You can't just like keep shifting up, going uphill. Your car won't go.
Right.
And so when I was thinking about that, I was like, this is the shift down, because we are going higher. We are going to the next level. So I am having to shift down in some things, knowing that once we get there, there'll be an acceleration to it. So I do feel this transitioning up and bigger and greater, but it might look like I feel sometimes like I'm going backwards, but I have to have
and
God's perspective on this.
And you're exactly right.
Yeah.
It's trusting his perspective.
That's me. I'm struggling. Just
and
me.
that's okay. But that's so relatable, because it's an unknown. It's an unknown, and it's a change that without the knowing of what God's doing, it's like, well, this isn't like you described earlier. This isn't the way it started. This isn't what was working at the beginning. But he's so involved in all of those details. Yeah. He's so involved in the gear shift down. And
otherwise my car will stall. If I don't shift down, it stalls.
Exactly. And we know so many other analogies. I mean, an arrow has to be pulled back before it can be launched forward. It looks like it's going backwards, but it's about to accelerate. And so all of those, we can sometimes, it's easy for us to see in other people's situations. Like, it's easy for me to see that with you, Melissa, right now.
Yeah.
That this is not anything to be like, oh no, what's going on? This is bad, negative, not good. This is just part of the journey.
I know. And I have to be okay with that.
And, but when it's you, when it's you.
Oh yeah. I can give people advice all day long. And then when it's like me going through it, I'm like, this is a little bit harder to do.
And that's why community, and which is one of your song and dances, why community is so important, because we're right here with you. Like I said before, we're all in this together. Cue the song. We're all in this together. And it's just a part of the journey.
Yes.
And it totally makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense.
Yes. One of my favorite things that I've been hearing people say that have been listening is they feel like they're at the table with us, having a cup of coffee and talking and listening in. And then I've had other people say that they have started doing coffee with friends.
I love that.
And having conversations with their friends about their lives. Because sometimes we can get into this every day. I don't want to say too much or go too deep, because then the conversation will get too long, and I don't want to say too much or take up too much time for somebody. And really, there are people that are saying, I'm just making time that I never made before, because technically sometimes we do have time.
Yeah,
we just choose where to spend it. Sometimes we're scrolling through social media, or we're watching Netflix, but they're creating time to be intentional about having coffee with people and connecting with them in person, and giving plenty of opportunity and time to learn things about people and to be able to talk about things that they did not have time to talk about before.
I love that.
So because there comes this place where when you kind of like peel back that first layer, just that, hey, how are you? I'm good. No, how are you? And then you can have permission to really start talking about, because this is what you need to do. You have to have people in your life that you can peel back those layers, or let them peel them back, and really talk about how are you, so that you don't get isolated. Everything is not happy all the time. Melissa is not happy all the time.
Nor is Laura.
Nor is Laura. You just get to catch us on days like this.
That's exactly right.
We're just hanging out, and but it's the good, it's the bad, it's all of it. There are plenty of things we can learn.
And you need a safe space with people to be real.
Yes.
And honestly, Melissa, to me, when I picture the unseen fruit of 50 episodes at this point, and I think one of those unseen fruits is kitchens and living rooms with people with cups of coffee in their hand, being real, and God entering in those conversations and bringing help and healing that you don't have an idea of how many times that's happening. So when I think of the way episodes are coming out, the who that's doing them, the type of content, when I think of that changing in that external element, adjusting, that is so small compared to the unseen fruit of all of those God-ordained conversations that are initiated and inspired because of this table.
Yes.
And it just makes that perspective just makes this be, of course, God's doing all of the other stuff anyway.
There's stuff happening we have no idea, which is why
only heaven will tell.
So glad that the Lord is just going, yes, keep going. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going to look a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it might be a little uncomfortable, because sometimes that's what changes. It's, like when you have that like favorite shirt and like you get a stain on it that won't come out, or it tears or something, and you're like, oh no. Yeah. It's like that. I just feel that favorite thing is changing, and I have to go, change. And it's meh.
And at episode 100.
Oh, you're coming back.
At episode 100, we're going to look back. I say I'm not inviting myself just to make it
clear. You're coming back for episode 100.
We're going to see so many answers.
Yes.
Because in hindsight, the whys that you don't know right now.
Yes.
And the fruit that you don't know right now will be so evident and be so clear that it's like,
Yeah.
why did I think of it that way?
So episode 100 I am so excited about that because I already know things are going to be so different.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they're going to look like. Like, guys, when I say we're transitioning and I have no idea what we're doing, that's what I mean. I have no idea. We have some things that we think we could do, and I'm just not real sure. And so in episode 100, we will have clarity and we'll be already operating in these new things that we're sitting here going, I don't know what it is yet. Mm-hmm. And it'll already be happening.
It will.
At episode 100.
It will.
And we may have to play this little snippet.
And we're gonna laugh.
And laugh and go, oh, episode
if you
50.
only knew.
Yeah. So we are trusting God and going, yes, whatever it looks like. Yep. Next week may just be a Monday episode. I don't know.
And that's okay.
I don't know. Is that okay for everybody?
It is okay.
Yes. Everyone says yes, it is okay.
I want to find something I can throw out on Wednesdays, but it may just be, I don't know, one day a week. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be Wednesday. No, I like Mondays.
I like Mondays.
I like starting out a week.
All right,
tell me personally.
I personally enjoy, it's hard to say. I think Monday.
I know.
I think I enjoy Monday, but I enjoy it also knowing what's coming, that Wednesdays aren't just going to be like when you do content on Wednesdays.
Yes.
It's not just the camels. I love the camels
Yes.
episodes. Those are, whenever those are sprinkled, I think those are always my favorite because it's so fun to hear those stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy Monday, and I enjoy getting ready in the mornings, putting on my makeup, fixing my hair. I'll have to pause it while my hair's drying so I don't miss anything.
Yes.
And I love listening to the conversations while I'm getting ready. And Monday that's part of my Monday
Yeah,
morning.
I feel like Monday morning is good because people are starting a new week. And then if you don't get to catch Mondays, you just catch up over the week or the weekend. You have like a whole week to get caught up before
That's
we go
exactly
into
right.
another one if we end up. And then if there is something that comes out Wednesday, it'll be like, surprise.
bonus.
A little bonus. So here is where, so we've made a decision. Mondays. So Monday
That's
will
my
be our
vote.
day.
Yeah.
Nope. We're just going to go ahead and make a decision because we can do that.
Because it's your podcast.
Because it's we just think that this is going to work.
And we're along with you in the journey.
All right. So Mondays is what's going to be. And then stay up with the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe to that. And then if you've ever had a favorite podcast episode, go find it and go watch the video to it.
Yes.
Like, or if you've wondered what so-and-so looks like, well, now you know.
Now you can
Just
find
go-
out.
Go look.
And I will say, because I'm a very visual person, though I love the podcast format and just listening because I enjoy doing other things while I listen to the podcast or other podcasts. But I enjoy the video element. So even the snippets that you're planning to release through other avenues, whether it's YouTube or social media, being able to see what's being talked about helps me personally because I'm a visual learner.
Yes.
For it to even stick more and to engage, because I've got my most engaged sense that wants to be engaged.
Yes.
I'm happening. So I just say more fuel on the fire to get more video content out
More
there.
work for Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. So the YouTube channel, subscribe, and please don't. I know we were still learning a whole lot in the beginning about everything. So just.
Well, let me say this because I have not said. I'm saying this for the very first time.
Hey, if you hear rain right now, it's raining here really bad.
There
but
is
it's
a
okay.
torrential downpour coming down. That's not what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. And there's some podcasts that I listen to that I can, when you like listen to a podcast and when they start interviewing someone, the volume shifts. And if you're listening to in your car, you have to like crank the volume way up.
Yeah.
And Dave, this is a testament to your programming or whatever it's called. I do not have to do that with this podcast. It's a good, even I don't have to crank it up to get it to the place that I need to hear it. And there's some others that will remain nameless. It's not important. They need to dial that in like Dave does because it's not quite what it needs to be, in my personal opinion. I've actually...
It's rain, y'all. So sorry. We're talking about how great the audio is on our podcast. Dave is dying over here
I
going,
feel like I'm yelling. Into
how am I going to edit this? Sorry, Dave.
There could not have been a better time for that.
Oh,
to
no,
happen.
it was perfect.
But I will say, Dave does a great job. Legitimately does a great job. And other times I've had in other podcasts, I've had to. Well, I'll stop the podcast. I'll unplug my phone, and my radio will be like blasting wide open because I had to turn it up. But Dave does not do that. So we are going to celebrate Dave and his abilities. Amen.
Yes, and amen.
Along with the rain that is falling on this house at this
And we are
moment.
not editing this part out, which we sometimes have had to edit out because we've had some major technical difficulties sometimes, or on the video, like the battery will run out, and we've had a few little skerfuffles from time to time, but I feel like we're in a groove now. I think
y'all are.
I think we've just got this
We're
little rhythm going.
professionals.
No, we're not professionals just yet. We're getting there.
We
In
have
my
a lot
book,
of, you are a pro. Multiple levels of professionalism.
we're just getting more and more practice. And
Yes.
so we're just getting better the more we practice. So, and we kind of like good audio, which is why the whole Skype thing or talking to people over the phone has been like, I just don't know, because we want to have really great audio, but I also want to have people at my table having coffee with me.
To me,
That's like the personal thing about it for me.
I totally appreciate the good audio, and what people are hearing, what people are seeing is the fruit of real face-to-face communication. And
Which we know what you say about communication.
And we want it to be the full 100%.
Yes.
Not just the 58 or the 7 or any of those percentages. We want the fullness. 55, 38, 7.
Yes.
That's how it's broken down.
55, 38, 7. So go ahead and break it down for them. 55 is?
So 55 is the expressions
On your face. This is communication, guys. 55% of communication is the expression on your face.
38 is the tone of voice, the way it sounds, the way your word sounds, and then 7% is the vocabulary you use.
The actual words you use. So there we go. So for them to watch a YouTube video of the podcast,
Get the fullness.
they are feeling way more communicated.
Yep.
Because they're getting all of it.
They're getting all 100%.
Yep, they're getting the facial expressions and everything.
Yep.
So awesome. YouTube channel. The Facebook page, What's Next God podcast, is we're kind of putting a lot of content there. Of course, you could follow me on my personal Facebook if you want. I am accepting friend requests.
I suggest that you do that.
But I don't put all the podcast stuff on my personal page. So if you like podcast and you just want podcast and you don't want to see pictures of like my cat or my baby nephew from time to time.
You do. They're both very cute. The nephew's even cuter than the cat. So
then
you're welcome.
Then you've got the Facebook page for the podcast. And then also my Instagram, which I just do everything on one Instagram. So podcasts, whatever I'm doing.
And if you ever ask
on that.
a question and you get some feedback,
Yes.
you're the one that they engage with in doing that. So
Yes.
it's great to be able to connect with you personally through that avenue.
So I am all about online connecting, staying connected, and I answer all of my Facebook messages, all of my Instagram messages, and if you want to talk to me, then send me a message and we'll talk about it. Yep, reach out, and I can connect you with people. If there was a certain guest that you really connected with something that they talked about and you had some questions, all of our guests have said yes. I can connect with them. And so if there's been somebody in the past that's talked and you go, I want to know more about them, then I can get you connected with them as well. Laura, 50 episodes.
Yay.
Wow.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
Thanks for coming and
I'm honored
chatting.
to be able to be part of this milestone.
You've been at my house a lot this week.
We have knocked out a good bit of time and things
that we had to do, like legitimate business we had to take care of.
Hours and hours worth of business for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Knocked it out of the park, and I'm so thankful to get to do it with you.
It's been great.
I love it. And
Cheers
I love
to
you.
50 more. I love you.
Yay. We'll see you at the 100th episode.
That's right. Well, you'll be back before 100, but you'll
is
definitely be episode 100. Just go ahead and put it on your calendar. We'll have to figure it out.
I'll just make a little marker every day and from now until then to say it's coming.
Okay. Episode 100 with Laura is coming. Whatever her last name might be. We'll edit that part out. Well, guys, 50 episodes down, and who knows how many more to go. But for sure, there are wonderful and exciting things ahead. Do I know what they are? Nope. But I get the feeling it's going to be good. So I hope you guys will get on board and take the journey with us. It's going to be an adventure. I'm already looking forward to episode 100 so we can all look back and see all the things that have happened after letting those winds of change carry us into something new. And my friend Laura, whatever her last name will be, has already said she'd be here too. So mark your calendars for the date. Well, I'm not sure what that date is yet. I guess we'll find out together. But stay connected with all the changes happening by subscribing to this podcast, our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and I'd love for you guys to leave a rating and review. Elizabeth recently left a review on iTunes saying, "This podcast is one of my favorites. I look forward to every episode. I love hearing everyone's stories, and I always hear a snippet that really speaks to me." Thanks, Elizabeth. If we're not yet connected on social media, let's be friends. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook under the name Melissa Matheson. That's math, like 4 + 1 = 5, I before E, son, S-O-N. Well, friends, for now, stay safe, stay in your house, stay 6 feet apart, and stay connected to friends and family with FaceTime and coffee during these next few weeks of transition in our nation. If you run out of things to do, I'll be back here on Monday. Come join me. We're going to sit around the table, have a cup of coffee, and talk about what's next, God.